other security agencies in adhering to the law to ensure a smooth and successful election. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC rules ahead of the November 11 governorship elections in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi states. He made a call in Abuja amid fears of violence in Imo and Kogi states. Ganduje stated that President Bola Tinubu's wish is a credible election, there is a credible election in the three states on Saturday. The APC chieftain said the party will abide by all rules guiding the electoral process. The APC chairman also advocated for more political sensitization for Nigerians to ensure strong political parties. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has tasked the independent in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo states. PDP National Organizing Secretary Umar Baturi stated this in Abuja at Election Security Parley in Abuja. He charged the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Gbetoku, to identify ringleaders of electoral violence in the three states to deflate violence. The PDP chieftain added that if President Bola Tinubu sustained his assurance that he has no candidate in the polls despite being a member of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, the level of violence will noticeably reduce before, during, and after the polls. In a related development, the United Kingdom has issued travel alert warning its citizens against threat of attacks on hotels in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). Case Foreign Commonwealth Office in the travel advisory issued on November 4, 2020 also advised against all travels to the states Yobe, Adamawa, Gombe, Kaduna, Katsina, Zamfara, and the riverine areas of Delta, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River states. The travel advisory comes amid heightened concerns about the possibility of violence during the upcoming gubernatorial elections. Tens of thousands have been rallying across the UK to call for an immediate ceasefire and an end to the violence in Gaza. Demonstrations have been held in London each Saturday since the war began last month. Kemisola Jomo reports.
They came in their hundreds and gathered in their thousands across the country, in the north from Manchester to the west in Bristol. The call of solidarity with Palestinians was heard. This was the fourth week in a row that the rallying demand for an end to the conflict in Gaza echoed across central London.
We want a ceasefire, we want the war crimes to stop, and we want to show the people in Palestine that we stand with them, that London stands with them.
Well, it's all about humanity, isn't it? At the end of the day, we might all be different colours, but we all bleed the same. You know, killing of innocent civilians and babies, it's all wrong at the end of the day. And you know what, the governments are not doing anything, so this is the only means we have.
And for those who have gathered here, what the youth is doing is simply not enough. Many are angered that the government has just asked for humanitarian pause rather than an outright ceasefire. And it is the end to hostilities in Gaza that is putting British politicians at odds with public opinion. In latest polls, 3/4 of those surveyed said they are concerned about the impact on civilians, both Palestinians and Israeli, and that there should be an immediate end to the fighting. Organizers of the Palestinian solidarity rallies have vowed that while the war continues, so too will the demonstrations even next Saturday on Remembrance Day, a day that commemorates the fallen who have served in the armed forces as well as civilians. Despite the Prime Minister's Rishi Sunak calling the plans disrespectful and provocative.
But now our leaders are failing a basic, simple moral test. The only justification for not calling for a ceasefire is you believe that Palestinian lives do not count. The people gathering here today do not share that morality.
A sentiment shared by many here who cling to the hope of the end to this war. Kemi Solojomu, Osrc News.
Jordan and Israel have announced the airdrop of urgent medical supplies to a field hospital in the Gaza Strip. Jordan's King Abdullah II said early on Monday that the Jordanian Air Force had dropped urgent medical aid to the field hospital operated by the kingdom in the enclave since 2009. Israel's military, in a statement, said it had coordinated with its Arab neighbor on the drop, which is also said included food. Last month, Saudi Arabia's Arab News reported that the Jordanian field hospital was facing and would likely stop operating soon due to a lack of supplies amid Israeli bombing. Thousands of people living in northwest Nepal are sleeping outside after at least 157 people died in a powerful earthquake. Survivors say their village was almost completely destroyed in the quake. Saeed Aribisala now reports.
The nights are cold in Nepal's Ram districts, but these people have no choice but to sleep here and wait for help. After a powerful earthquake destroyed their homes, they only have blankets and a small fire to keep them warm.
Our village has been totally destroyed. We don't have anything left to eat. Whatever food we had is buried under the rubble of our fallen houses.
Most houses in this area were damaged or destroyed in Friday's earthquake.
The government should help us, as our houses and everything has been lost.
Authorities estimate at least 200 people were injured when the earthquake struck in the middle of the night.
I was sleeping on the top floor. The middle floors totally collapsed when I was thrown. I thought I would die for sure, but here I am. I survived.
Earthquakes are common in Nepal, but this is the worst to eat since 2015. Officials are still trying to find survivors or dead in destroyed homes. Cremations are underway.
I found that my daughter, my son-in-law and grandson had died. It took us 2 hours to take their bodies out and bring them here.
Many here now face immense difficulties, unsure of what they will eat or where they will sleep, and the most difficult challenge is saying goodbye to their loved ones. Saeed Aribisala, Osrc News.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is in China on a visit aimed at improving strained diplomatic relations. He is the first Australian leader to visit the country since 2016. Australian wine and food exporters are hoping it will be able to restore access to China's billion-dollar market. Kemisola Ojomo has the details.
Anthony Albanese is the first Australian Prime Minister to visit China since 2016. His 4-day trip is amid at easing years of diplomatic strain between the two countries. Albanese was a guest of honor at China's import-export that is opened in Shanghai.
It is in all our interest to have a relationship where there is dialogue and cooperation.
Tension was spiked in 2018 when the previous Australian government banned Chinese telecom giants Huawei from its 5G network and called for an investigation into the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Beijing responded by imposing a diplomatic freeze and trade curbs on Australian imports.
And the democratic process.
Elected in 2022, Albanese has sought to improve ties with Craig's biggest trading partner in recent months. Beijing has removed tariffs on wheat and barley.
My mom.
And released Australian journalist Chong Lin after 3 years of detention on spying charges. But significant differences remain.
Australia continues to deepen its relationship with the United States, and Australia continues to have a really high threat perception when it comes to the Chinese government and its activities on the world stage.
China has criticized Australia's plan to purchase nuclear-powered submarines from the US and of the Quad Security Pact that also includes India and Japan. Anthony Albanese is scheduled to travel to Beijing and meet Chinese President Xi Jinping on Monday. Kemisola Jomu, Osrc News.
5 people, including 2 children, have been killed and several others injured after a car plowed into a beer garden in regional Australia. Shane Patton said the car had collided with a large object before hitting a number of people at tables outside a pub 10 km northwest of Melbourne. Police said 4 people died at the scene, while a girl died in hospital as 5 other people, including an 11-month-old boy, are in hospital being treated for injuries. Patton said police had yet to speak to the 66-year-old driver of the vehicle